Well, WrestleMania weekend has begun. As you probably can guess, we're going to do it. We got NXT Stand and Deliver. So we have many matches taking place. Of course, we have the crowning of a brand new Women's North American Championship. Who will walk out of the six ladies involved in this match? Well, I guess we have to find out. And then, of course, the NXT tag team titles will be defended. Fraxium, as you know, so far so good. They've been successful defending the belts. However, they're facing a team who has, of course, in my opinion, been the ultimate underdogs. But the real question does tell, will they able to walk away as new tag champions or fall? That's another question we're going to see. And then, of course, we got the main event, the three-way match for the NXT Championship. Who will walk out? Will it be the ruler himself, Obafemi? Or will it be, of course, Trick Williams or the young, of course, Javon Evans? That's a very good question that we definitely going to be taking a look at. And then we move on, of course, with night one of WrestleMania 41. So a lot of things are taking place. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Jey Uso will face off against Gunther, who's been an unstoppable force since he arriving in WWE. We got the tag team titles. The New Day taking on, of course, the Viking War Raiders, or whatever they call themselves now. Of course, we have the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton takes on the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and then there's the main event, of course, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So this is going to be one hell of a match. And then, of course, but first things first, we're going to be reviewing New Japan's most recent event. As you know, they are now on the road to Wrestling Dontaku. They had the recent show of course, in Korakuen Hall recently on the 18th of April. This one, of course, features possibly the final time we get to see Jeff Cobb. He faces against the ace and the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course, Tanahashi. That's going to be a very interesting match. And the main event features a 10-man tag team elimination. LIJ will be facing off against members of Hantai, members of the Just Five Guys, Shota Umino, and I forgot who else. Oh yeah, Yoshihashi. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But as always, we will cap up our episode with a very short news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, what's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. So, in the words of the Human Torch, let's flame on. So let's begin, of course, with our first review, and this is from New Japan in Korakuen Hall with The Road to Wrestling Dontaku. Alright, our first review, New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestling Dontaku. This is their much recent show that took place in Korakuen Hall on the 18th of April. Now, we opened up with eight-man tag team match. We have, of course, Daiki Nagai, Katsuya Murashima, Tomoaki Hamna, and Togi Makabe. Those two are also known as GBH. They face against another young lion named Masatora Yasuda, Tiger Mask, Satoshi Kojima, and of course, Blue Justice, Yuji Nagata. Now, nothing too special about this match in this way that plays out. However, of course, their X factors in this match you may notice are the young lions. We're talking about, of course, Daiki Nagai, Katsuya Murashima, and of course, Masatora Yasuda. The reason is this: they are the most likely the ones who could take the pinfall or submission, whatever they throw at them. But however, in this case, in my opinion, I would have thought maybe, in my opinion, thinking that it would be Masuda, who is, I think, brand new, would have been taking the fall. But nope, it was, of course, Nagai with the crossface by Yuji Nagata, and just like that, he had no choice but to tap, and Nagata, along with his teammates, they picked up the win. Our next match, we have Yo, Master Wato, Bolton Oleg, and Toru Yano, a part of the main unit Kantai. They take on TMDK, Hartley Jackson, Rohei Oiwa, Kosei Fujita, and Robbie Eagles. Now, recently it seems that Master Wato and Yo are issuing challenges for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Now, Master Wato and Yo have been tag champions in their own respective teams. Wato with, of course, with Taguchi, Yo with, of course, that idiot Show. So you probably can guess it. So you can treat this as a preliminary match if you want. But in this case, it was Bolton Oleg who picked up the win when he applied the Kamikaze onto Hartley Jackson. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over right from there. Our next match, we have the ace and the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on Jeff Cobb. Now, many of you may have remembered this or been hearing Jeff Cobb has already been signed to leave New Japan, and he'll be making his way to WWE. There's been talk about this, and some people thought it was crazy because recently Jeff Cobb, along with Cal Newman, they won the tag team belts against I forgot who was the champions at the time, against Hiromu and Tetsuya Naito. So that kind of was weird, but now it's like because of it, he's making the choice to leave. Tanahashi, as you know, has to face against him. Now, I don't know if Tanahashi has ever defeated him or lost to him before, but we know Jeff Cobb is a real powerful dude. However, he was on the verge of defeating Tanahashi with the, of course, Tour of the Island, but somehow he was able to maneuver this into an inside cradle, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, the ace picked up the win. And then, of course, there was a post-match promo by Jeff Cobb, of course, saying goodbye to the fan base. I'm sure it's difficult not to the United Empire, knowing that one of their own brethren is moving up his performance elsewhere, but we still don't know what's going to happen next from here on out, coming with the United Empire. So we know Newman is on the is now in the challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, but we'll get to that in a bit near the end. Our next match, we have the House of Losers, or better known as the House of Torture, Sanada, Sho, and Ren Narita, along with, of course, that dickhead Kanemaru with his whiskey drinking, taking on, of course, the Bullet Club War Dogs, Yado, Taiji Shimori, and Drilla Maloney. Now, as you all know, this is a bit of a war. If you guys remember, not too long ago, Evil declared that, of course, that the Bullet Club War Dogs are expelled from the Bullet Club. Now we all know it's a load of horse crap. Not to mention, Evil thinks this whole thing with them being a cage match is a bunch of crap, that they're not going to do it. Well, sooner or later, they have no other choice but to get involved. But as always, when it comes to these dickheads, the House of Losers, Kanemaru decided to use the Whiskey Mist onto Ghetto, and just like that, it was Narita that picked up the win by pinfall. But you know this is far from over with the War Dogs. They will love nothing more to brutalize the House of Losers one way or the other. So that day will be coming. Now our next match, you can treat this as a preliminary in two fronts. We have the United Empire, more specifically Jacob Austin Young, Templario, and Cal Newman taking on Ryusuke Taguchi, El Desperado, who is our current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Junior Heavyweight Champion, and then of course Hiroki Goto, our current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Now, those who know this or not, recently Templario issued a challenge for this belt against Desperado after they're on the verge of defeating I forgot who it was, and then this. And then of course Hiroki Goto, as you know, Cal Newman made the choice after the tag team belts were vacant. He issued the challenge, trying to believe that he will be the youngest ever IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and also to dethrone Goto. So we'll see what happens until that. But this match is a preview of what's going to happen. But in the end, it was, of course, Taguchi that was able to pick up the win on Jacob Austin Young. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next match, which is our main event, is a 10-man tag team match. We have Yoshihashi, Shota Umino. They team up with just 5 guys, consistent of Taka Michinoku, Taichi, and Yuya Uemura, taking on LIJ's Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji. Now, this is also an interesting thing. As you know, by next month, Naito and Bushi will be leaving New Japan. So you can say this is possibly the last time we'll see Naito and Bushi with New Japan in Korakuen Hall. But this was a 10-man tag team elimination match. I don't remember exactly what the order is, how they were eliminated, but I can tell you how this match ended. This match ended with Naito eliminating Taichi, and just like that, LIJ picked up the win. And of course, as usual, Naito and LIJ closed the show to do the little post-match promo, and just like that, it was completely over. So we are officially done with New Japan. Let's move on with NXT Stand and Deliver. Part of WrestleMania weekend, NXT's Stand and Deliver. We opened up with the NXT North American Championship. Ricky Saints makes, I believe, his first title defense against Ethan Page. Now remember, since Ricky Saints made his debut in NXT, he's been looked at by others as an outsider, claiming that he didn't belong. And Ethan Page is one of those guys that we can say he was an outsider, but he's making himself that he's not relevant in the matter. But, however, there was a four-way number one contendership with Ethan Page won. Now, you know Ethan Page will do whatever it takes to win, but he even applied the ego's edge, and it failed him big time. But it was until Ricky Saints with the Rochambeau, and just like that, the world will be televised. And that's exactly what happened. 1, 2, 3, he retained the belt. Next up, we have, you can call it a Cinderella story for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Hank and Tank, as you know, in recent times, they've been on a losing streak, trying to make their way onto the top. But recently, they defied the odds when they were in a gauntlet match, defeating all 5 teams who stood against them, tried to derail them, and they were becoming the number one contenders. Now you got the champions, Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, who so far they have been lucky retaining their belts due to their petty differences when it comes to who's better, who's right, whatever goes on in their heads. But man, you would think that this match would have still fallen in favor with Axiom and Frazier, but nope. This match went beautifully, where of course Hank and Tank were able to pick up the win by isolating Axiom, and then of course taking out Frazier with the combo, and then later of course Tank was the one who picked up the win by pinning him. 1, 2, 3, just like that, brand new tag team champions. Now, I want to put this on note. I wouldn't be surprised if the other teams that they defeated in the gauntlet match, such as, of course, the Calling, Igwe and DuPont, um, Inamura, Briggs, and whoever else is involved, are complaining and bitching about it's a fluke. That's the one thing I'm sure they will go on that. So we'll see what happens. Now, our next match is for the NXT Women's North American Championship in a ladder match. As you know, this belt was vacant by request of by General Manager Ava to Stephanie Vakir. And then they set up qualifying matches for the ladder match. Here's who able to secure the spots. We have Thea Hill versus Lola Vice versus Izzy Dane versus, of course, Kalani Jordan, who was the first ever Women's North American Champion. We have Zaria and Soruka. Now, of course, factors are with Zaria and Soruka, they will definitely try to be friends for the short time, and then, of course, there'll be moments where we see every woman for themselves. But the real question you ask yourself, who's going to walk out? That was the bigger question. But Soruka was able to pull it off when she applied snow, despite the fact that the only way to win this belt is by pulling the belt, and that's exactly what she did. She went up the ladder and pulled it and grabbed it, and just like that, brand new NXT Women's North American Champion. So we're very happy for that. Next match, we have a bit of a war between the D'Angelo family and Dark State. Dark State has been causing nothing but problems, and recently they attacked Tony D'Angelo. So basically, Tony D'Angelo decided to set up this match where he teams up with Stack and Luke Crucifino to take on Dark State, consistent of what's his name, Sugar, whatever, Dion Lennox, and I forgot who's the other guy. So yes, they basically were involved. However, this match took a very different turn that I don't think none of us saw this coming, or maybe some of us did. Stacks turned his back on Tony D'Angelo, turning him by low blowing him. We don't know what was the main reason. We know there have been some tensions between those two in recent times, but we don't know where they're going to go from here. I mean, the underboss betrayed the head of the family, and now he probably will be marked, for death or something. I don't know, but we'll see where that happens on Tuesday. Our next match, we have at the NXT Women's Championship in a four-way match. We have Julia, the former champion, Jada Parker versus what's her name, Jordan Grace versus Stephanie Vakir. Now, Stephanie Vakir, as you know, recently defeated Julia to obtain this belt in a winner-take-all match, which led to her not only retaining the Women's North American Championship, but at the same time vacating it to focus more on the NXT Championship. But the real question is, who will walk out? Many people would probably think maybe Jordan Grace, or maybe what's her name, Stephanie Vakir will remain, and that's exactly what happened. It was the SVP by Vakir onto Jada Parker, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, during the end of the show, we did see, of course, Stephanie Vakir celebrating her win until someone decided to challenge her for the belt, and that is, of course, the former NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. So, as usual, with her temper tantrum. Now, our next match was our main event, the NXT Championship. We have Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus the champion Oba Femi. So basically, Oba Femi is put through the test this time to take on two of NXT's finest. But the real question, how this was going to turn out. Well, apparently Oba Femi was able to pick up the win when he applied a sit-down powerbomb on Javon Evans, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he retained the championship, and we'll see what happens. But the real question is, for Trick Williams, will he still continue to pursue it? I would say he probably will, but I highly doubt that he'll get any any luck out of this, but we'll see. So we are now officially done with NXT Stand and Deliver. Let's move on with our last and final review, WrestleMania 41 Night 1. Okay, I think many of you may be happy that I did this one. Normally I don't cover WWE that much, especially when it comes to Raw or SmackDown, but I normally do NXT, WWE Evolve, but once in a while I'll do their pay-per-views, so I decided, what the hell, let's do this one. So, say thank you for doing this one. So we're doing WrestleMania 41. This is night 1 of the show. We opened up with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defending his title against Jey Uso. So as you know, Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, and now he gets an opportunity of a championship match. Some people might think that he was making the biggest mistake, facing against a powerful person who is a force to be reckoned with, Gunther. We all saw recently what he did to his brother Jimmy. That sort of thing sets it up, but no matter what, Jey Uso refuses to stay down, because Gunther is the type of person who would definitely try to say that whatever Jey Uso is, that he is not, he's a total disgrace to the sport of wrestling. But Jey Uso fought through no matter what, until, of course, he was starting to use things from Gunther's playbook. One of them is, of course, is the move that helped them win the match, which is the chokehold. And just like that, Gunther just officially tapped out. Normally it's rare, but yes, he tapped out. So that's what happened. So we don't know what's going to happen to Gunther, but congratulations to Jey. And not to mention his twin brother Jimmy showed up to celebrate. So happy reunion right there. Now our next match, we have the WWE World Tag Team Championship. The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, as you know, with their recent attitude after calling out, of course, Big E for leaving them behind. They challenged the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. I have to say, this was one of those matches where you know that there was going to be some great moments. I mean, Ivar, really impressive. Some things that normally we see with Samoa Joe, but they were able to pull it off in every way possible. But however, Kofi Kingston was able to pick up the win onto, of course, Eric, and then thanks to Xavier Woods, he hold what's his name, Eric's foot, and just like that, they picked up the win. Just 1, 2, 3, brand new tag team champions. So we'll see what happens until then. Now our next match, this is a full-blown grudge match. We have Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Now many of you may remember what happened. Last November, Jade Cargill was attacked. Nobody knew who it was. At first, people thought it was Naomi, Liv Morgan, and of course, what's her name? Raquel Gonzalez. But it turned out that what happened to Jade Cargill, this was coming from Naomi, and even Naomi confessed to what happened, and this is the result. And now Jade Cargill has come back with a vengeance, and that's exactly what she tried. But Naomi is trying to prove her point about Jade Cargill, how she's been stepping over the line and all this other stuff, but nothing she says is going to stop someone like Jade Cargill, who, in my opinion, is a force to be reckoned with. We've seen that already in AEW. We even can see it in WWE as well. But Jade Cargill was able to walk away with the win when she applied the Jaded, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next match, we have the WWE United States Championship, Jacob Fatu taking on Eli Knight. Now, of course, Eli Knight's a big, loudmouth person, which, of course, I don't mind, because that's who he is. Jacob Fatu is another force to be reckoned with that you don't want to be around. And, of course, Fatu would do whatever it takes to hurt him even further, but it took only a couple of moonsaults by Jacob Fatu to pick up the win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, brand new United States champion. Now our next match, well, this one was a very interesting one. We have El Grande Americano, or we all know as Chad Cable, to take on Rey Fenix. Now recently, of course, this guy has been attacking luchadores, you know, saying he's a patriarch and using all this stuff. However, we did notice that he got in the face of Hijo de Vikingo. Surprising he was there. And I'll talk more about that. And then, of course, he used the mask to, this little piece of thing to load up the mask to walk away with the win. And that's exactly what happened. And then Vikingo showed up to help out Phoenix. So basically, that's how it ended. Now, our next match is for the WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton defends her belt against Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is determined to take back everything that she lost, or so. But, however, we know that what's her name, Tiffany Stratton, refuses to stay down no matter what, and that's exactly what she did. She fought back no matter what. She pulled through. She was able to apply the pretty moonsault ever, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she retained her championship. Now, our next match, which is our main event, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. Now, these guys are very familiarized people. As you know, Seth Rollins had his fair share issues towards CM Punk. Same thing with Roman Reigns, but we do know that Reigns and Rollins are in fact former teammates of members of the Shield, which of course has now been long and buried. But they're of course dealing with something else. But the one thing that was really crazy in this match was towards the end when Heyman betrayed CM Punk. Then he tried to get on the good grace of what's his name? The good grace of Roman Reigns, but later it was taken out. So basically, what's his name? Seth Rollins was able to pick up the win when he stomped him, and just like that, it was over. 1, 2, 3, done. So, however, during as soon as the event was over, we did see Stephanie Bakir celebrating her win, taking photos until what's her name? Roxanne Perez, of course, wants another shot of this title. So we'll see what happens. So that's something we'll probably have to wait and see. So for now, we're already officially done with all the reviews. So let's move on with, of course, with a very short news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin as always with upcoming events. As you know, next month we have the Canadian promotion Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling with Northern Rising. They'll take place on the 10th. It was announced that Gabe Kidd will be participating, so not bad. And then of course the NWA has announced for the Crockett Cup taking place on the 17th of May. Legendary ref, many of you may know him, Earl Hebner, will be there. Now it's still unclear whether he'll be refereeing, but we do know he'll be participating in a meet and greet. So if any of my subscribers who are planned in the Philadelphia area are planning to attend NWA in this show, make sure you get your tickets to see him. Now our final thing is the updates. Many of you may have heard what happened. It's been announced on WWE. It appears that WWE has acquired the Mexican promotion AAA. Now, this was effectively immediately. However, certain things have been added. It turned out that AAA will be in an event called World Collides with NXT on the 7th of June at the Kia Forum in LA. However, there are certain circumstances revolving about this event that was announced. It's no coincidence that recently AEW has announced, of course, that they will have a major event in Mexico, most specifically in Arena Mexico, which is the home of CML. So it's kind of interesting of that. And then there's of course the Fantastica Mania with New Japan. So that's one of the things, of course, has been mentioned on social media. However, I made a decision that I will do a discussion video involving this about the partnership between, well, that AAA was purchased by WWE. Some people say it's good for business. However, there have been certain circumstances that people mention, and I have to say we have not forgotten those who are pro wrestling fans in general. They've been hearing things about the business, how things will go. We're going to go through all of it, and I'm thinking about doing that on the discussion video. I may not do that today, but that's going to be at another time. But for right now, I officially say we are done with everything, so let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode, but I also hope you guys appreciate the fact that I did WrestleMania 41. I probably will do WrestleMania night 2 of WrestleMania. Decided to just do pay-per-views from them. I don't watch Raw or SmackDown, but I do keep tabs on what goes on. So not putting that out as a, okay, I don't follow them that much. I mean, I do know, but I don't watch it. So I keep up what's going on in case anybody asks. As for our next episode, like I said, I probably will do night 2 of WrestleMania. Haven't decided what other events I might do. I mean, there's still a lot that I need to catch up with, mostly with the collective and other promotions that I do. I may not do a whole lot, but I will try to do my best and try to keep up. So we'll see how things will go. So I may wing it for the next episode. But however, until then, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.